Hello friends and people around the world, wherever you are. I hope that this video brings you some resolution or healing ideas about how we're all connected as human beings. We all suffer, we all experience a lot of pain and trauma in life, or many of us. And so my life story's been crazy, and I am an artist and comfortable talking about these things with people. I was a teacher for a long time, so I am here to tell you my story, to talk about my family history and my childhood to begin with, and I want to discuss methods that I've learned which have and continue to be healing tools for me. But this will happen in future videos after I lay down the groundwork for basically my autobiography. I choose this vlogging platform to tell my personal story in hopes that in telling it, it will be helpful to some people. I'm also going to be explaining how the methods that I've used for healing throughout the years. I've learned different techniques. Dietary changes have helped tremendously. Yoga, ways of thinking, and different modalities that have helped me to heal. And so I have to say that this has not been an easy journey, but for all of its challenges, it is worth it. The healing journey is worth it. Learning to love yourself, to forgive yourself, and to forgive other people who have hurt you is really what the journey's about. We all go through so much trauma and suffering. Well, most of us do. And I think that our life journey is about finding ways to heal from all of that. Either that or you go winding down into a darker and darker pit. And that does happen to many people. But if you do want to heal and become whole again, you can. It is a lot of hard work, but it is possible. So for today, I just want to say I believe we are here experiencing this very difficult world in order to heal and thereby transcend the boundaries of this plane of existence. That's what my hope is anyway. And with that said, I will begin my personal story. My mother and father met in Jacksonville, Florida, where they were both born in 1927. They met in high school in the 40s and fell in love. She was a majorette, and her family had money, and she had a Cadillac in the 40s, which, a convertible, which was unheard of probably for someone of the age of 16. So her family, she had come from privilege. And my grandfather had been an architect. He died when she was 9. In jail. I think he and my grandmother had a domestic violence thing happen, and she called the police on him. I think that's what happened. But then supposedly he died in jail over a cigarette, which I really don't know. I don't know what happened. I know he was an architect. I have a drawing that he did of the house that he built for my mom and grandmother when she was very young, and he was talented. But other than that, I know nothing about him, and the mystery behind him makes me extremely curious. My father was a 33rd degree Freemason, and my mother was an Eastern Star, and my grandmother, her mother, had an Eastern Star funeral, which was quite a to-do. I remember a lot of white doves, representation of white doves at the funeral, and I remember my mother's Eastern Star ring and my father's Masonic ring, which is indeed a pentagram. But is that just a symbol for paganism and questioning all Christian faith and Catholicism, or is that some kind of evil symbol? I think it's probably more pagan and representing something alchemical, but I don't know for sure. I was supposed to be in the Eastern Star, but that never happened because my parents broke up when I was a kid too. I was 9 years old. Like my mom, I was 9 when my dad left for other reasons. He didn't die, but we will get to that. So my grandmother had been a school teacher. So she was a well-educated woman on my mother's side. She was of French descent. I think both of my grandparents were of French descent. My sister did the genealogy. She's in Oklahoma. And it seems that we're also related to Will Rogers. Her family was from Oklahoma City, and they moved to Jacksonville. And then they had my mom. And she didn't know much about her personal family. She was an only child. But it was through the genealogy we found out we were related to Will Rogers, which means we have Cherokee on my mother's side. So my father was, like I said, captain of the football team, very popular, very handsome. He was, I guess, a quarter Seminole Indian, but he never told anyone that. He didn't tell anyone he had Native American in him until he found out I might be able to get money to go to college, because I have enough Native American in me at 1/8 to qualify for a free college education. But the catch-22 for that is that you have to prove that you are Native American. And there were my stepmother did our genealogy through the Mormon census in the 80s and never found any birth records, which was common. So that's how they get out of having to pay a free education for all people of Native descent. And then besides that, his father was a moonshiner, and he sold used cars, and they sold chickens when they could. He came from farm stock from Georgia, as I understand it. And my father's mother, who was a half-breed, Seminole and English, her father was Lieutenant Henry Brown, who helped settle Florida with General Gaines in the 1880s. And I got to read the Smithsonian report on the Smithsonian report on the Seminole Rebellion of 1883 to 1884. And the reporter mentioned my great-grandfather in that report. And that was quite an honor. So he was a Florida cracker, original Florida cracker, which were the men, the army men who came in cracking whips on their horses, is what I understand it. And you could hear the whips cracking in the middle of the night, so they got the term, they were given the term crackers. So that's the story of my grandmother and my grandfather on my mother's side. In the next video, I'll discuss my father and his family a little bit more, and a little bit more about my parents and their early relationship with each other. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time on the Janine Wiggins channel. Please share, like, and subscribe. Thank you.